What if the scariest thing about a romantic cabin retreat isn't what's outside the walls, but what's breaking apart on the inside? Keeper doesn't just tease us like most films. It breaks itself into chapters, and its first chapter opens with a haunting question.
Is there any way to keep love alive?
From the very opening shot, even though Liz and Malcolm seem to be in love with each other, it's clear from the blocking and choreography they are out of sync. They don't just face different directions, they move as if they're in different dimensions altogether. And it's not just them. Every shot in this trailer feels tilted, off balance. The camera angles, the winding, uneven road, even the semi-creepy shot of their fingers between the two seats, framed like someone else is spying on them.
Is it his face I see?
And here, what looks like two sinister eyes glowing in the dark turns out to be Liz and Malcolm themselves. And this cabin in the woods is such a hot mess. But clearly, that's the point. Look how it's staged, right in the middle of the woods. A perfect stand-in for the subconscious. The trees, rocks, and plants all feel scattered, like stray thoughts bleeding into each other. And the cabin itself is just as unbalanced. Nothing about it lines up. It's part wood walls, part glass windows. One side's a porch, the other side's bare. It's completely asymmetrical, and that's just the outside. Inside the cabin, almost every shot fractures space itself. Different materials, shifting shadows, layers of light. And most importantly, there's different surfaces in different depths of the frame, leaving some parts in focus and others blurry, often in the foreground like here. Not only does it create an intimate, claustrophobic feeling, like the walls are closing in, like the couple are being watched. At the same time, it also makes everything feel disjointed. Just as the couple's relationship looks warm but hides fractures, the cabin looks solid, but it feels structurally unbalanced. Maybe the monsters they encounter aren't external creatures at all, but fractured pieces of their psyche. Are these all the same person? The actress who plays Liz, Tatiana Maslany, played lots of different characters in the TV series Orphan Black. Could she be doing a similar thing in Keeper? There's also real evidence that the cabin itself straddles multiple dimensions or timelines, which makes the monsters harder to define. To me, they don't feel like classic invaders crashing into this world. They look and act more like captives themselves. And maybe what they crave isn't blood or destruction, but companionship, connection. So now when I look at this opening frame again, I notice something different. What really dominates it aren't Liz and Malcolm, it's those two white chairs. On the surface, they're high-end, making the space feel like a curated, controlled environment. But look again. To me, they also resemble giant spiders, waiting patiently to trap and keep their prey. And I think patience sets the right tone for this film. After all, it's called Keeper, not Race to the Death, and the monsters certainly don't rush. In fact, the whole trailer, and probably most of the film, will feel like slow motion. The shots in this trailer are so slow, they probably could have been made in AI, the way things barely move. The horror here isn't just in the jump scares or chase sequences. It's the slow inevitability, like being caught in a web you can't escape from. This shot of Liz, who's clearly lost her mind, is almost comical, because the hands are really just caressing her. Same as these hands that are stroking what's likely the insides of somebody, maybe preserved in amber or something like it. And talk about insides, they're more like outsides. Judging by the rags around this body and the weird mask, I wonder if these are one and the same. And here she is again, inside what looks like a prison cell. And to that end, you can hear the voices crying out, like they're literally dying to escape. Which brings me to another point. In each chapter of this trailer, both Liz and Malcolm repeat the same lines.
Why does it always have to end? Always there looking back at me. I think she's a keeper.
He's a keeper. She's a keeper. On the surface, it sounds like love, like they want to hold on to each other. But what if that line isn't about choice at all? Liz is shown sketching other faces, other souls she seemed to have encountered. Maybe they're all being kept, not by each other, but by the cabin itself. What if this isn't a retreat, but a trap? A curse that's been there for centuries? What if it's not really a cabin at all, but a prison? And there's another question that both Liz and Malcolm ask that, to me, cuts even deeper.
Is it his face I see?
Only a mask that she's wearing.
Mask imagery isn't just spoken. It's everywhere in the visuals, too. Because a mask isn't only about tricking others on the outside. On the inside, it fractures reality, splitting the person you present from the one you really are. And maybe that's the most suffocating prison of all. Now, the title, in its sickly green, takes on a whole new meaning.
Is there any way to keep love alive?
This shot of the trees is loaded with symbolism. They're like an endless maze of prison bars, old souls, rooted in place, growing side by side for centuries. The trees are never free to leave. See what I did there? They're never able to separate. What have they witnessed in all that time? And through the glass, Liz and Malcolm stare back at them, almost as if they recognize the truth, that they're just as trapped as the trees are. And here's the real twist. Liz and Malcolm aren't the only ones trapped. The audience will be held captive too, because the entire story unfolds in this single location. The true keeper of this film might not be the cabin or the curse at all. It might be its creator, Osgood Perkins. If he can sustain the tension in the film as masterfully as he does in the trailer, he won't just keep his characters imprisoned. He'll draw out the real question. Who or what is keeping me?